Welcome back, everyone, to a special edition of the We Three Kings Wrestling Podcast. Hope you guys are having a good night. I'm your host, Ben Mostaller. Along with me, the King, Brandon King, down there on video tonight. Troy is not with us tonight, but that's all right. We got a very special guest, a good friend of mine. They call him the Superior One, Joey Sunseri. He's killing it right now in the ring. Joey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And if we could still be the Three Kings if I'm on here. But I mean, right. Ben, everybody, I'm going to make this clear to you. I'll make it clear to anybody that's watching. It's one of two things whenever you say Joey Sunseri. If you're going to go superior man, superior athlete, the superior one, it's either all of it, the superior athlete, the superior man, Joey Sunseri, or just superior Joey Sunseri. So you had it right in the notes, man. Come on.
Hey, I'm sorry. We should bow down to him. If he's the king, Brandon, he's taking over this pod.
You're forgiven.
Okay,
you're forgiven.
Good. I'm glad. I get one mess.
Yeah. You one mess up.
All right. I'll make sure to make it perfect for you the rest of the way. So let's just start with it, Joey. How did you get involved with wrestling to where you're at right now?
Ever since I was a little superior one, I always just wanted to get inside of the ring. Opportunity came up that there was a local place, the Stronghold Wrestling Academy. Brandon K runs it, owner operator, trains the classes, went down, and ever since then been one of the fastest rising students. And I'm sure we're going to get into my rookie year this year of everything that I've been doing, but it's been awesome to be there. And I'm sure we'll talk about the Stronghold Academy and all the people that have been through it, but it's just something that I always wanted to do, man. It's natural.
Especially for a guy like you. I mean, come on now. But talk about the Stronghold Academy. Like, what are some names that come out of there that people might know?
If you watch AEW, you've seen Lee Moriarty against Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. You got started with Dante Martin. And I always tell people in the last calendar year, what do I have in common with Bryan Danielson, whatever his name is now, and CM Punk? You know the answer? What do I have in common with them?
Yeah, you took on Lee.
Not only took him on, there's a lot of people that did, but all three of us have beat Lee Moriarty.
There you go. Yeah, the superior athlete could defeat Bryan Danielson and CM Punk too easily in the ring.
Maybe.
I hope we can see that one day.
That would be awesome. But yeah, who else is in there? If you watch AEW Dark, you would have seen Nikita Knight a couple times. She debuted against Thunder Rosa, just got signed to NXT. So I'm sure she's not as thick as the Nikita that's on there right now. So I'm sure Uncle Vince will have a different name for her to go by. But Nikita Knight killed it, rookie year. Got signed to the big show. I mean, that just shows how fast we're able to get people ready at the Stronghold Academy. If you watch Impact Wrestling, you know Lady Frost is. She just got signed. She's making waves on there. Also, who's going to be at WrestlePit on this Saturday. Duke Davis, if you know who the main event is, Gannon Jones Jr. and Duke Davis. Duke Davis is another product of Brandon K. I mean, these are guys that are just not getting trained by anybody and just going out there and working at the county fair. I mean, these are people that are going to the main stage. Duke Davis is a monster. You see him on AEW Dark tag matches all over the world. I think he's a champion, a tag champion with Gannon Jones Jr. 4 different promotions right now. I mean, he's out there, he's killing it. And there's many more that are coming too, like me.
Exactly. Now I know our Brandon K. He's got a question for you. So
oh, you're Brandon. Do you go by Brandon K, or is it? I see Brandon King now, but
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Either or, whatever you do, just don't call me anything but a child of God. Anyway, Doctor Superior.
Yes,
I like it.
The question I have for you is, who's been the biggest influence in your life when it comes to wrestling, And what style of wrestling do you try to emulate in the ring today?
Like who's the biggest influence on me, like a fellow wrestler or somebody that's helped me on the journey?
Either or.
Brandon Kay is definitely the biggest one that's helped me along the way. Everything he's taught me and shown me. I mean, he's my sensei whenever it comes to all this. But influences, people that I admire growing up: Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, RVD, guys like that from the Attitude Era. I mean, that's what I was big on. Those are the guys that I watched. If you watch a match of mine, I mean, you can go on YouTube, look up me versus Chandler Hopkins, Lee Moriarty. Definitely have a lucha technical style to myself. Feel like I could go in there with anyone, any size, any opponent. I was in there with Cole Carter, who also IWC old Super Indie champion whenever we were in London. He's about 6'3", 260 pounds. I mean, guys of any size, but I would definitely say I'm technical lucha style.
The lucha superior athlete. So Joey, you got to wrestle. You talked a little bit about Cole Carter. You got to wrestle him over in the UK. I mean, what was that experience like, going out of the States over there and taking on a champion who he was in AEW not too long ago, wrestling in some matches?
No, it was life-changing experience to go over there. First of all, I almost had him too, but just being able to go inside of the ring with somebody like Cole Carter was an awesome experience. I'd love to be able to do that again, but he's another one that Uncle Vince is going to be given a different name to. So we'll see what his name is coming up soon, but I'd like to get in there again with him and see what goes on.
Yeah, for sure. Rematch. You also brought up, and before we get to the next question, LDN Wrestling was the promotion that you wrestled for over there. Guys like Finley, if you remember from WWE, MJF, a big name now, and Sabu have wrestled over there. So did you know that going into UK that these guys were over there?
I found it out whenever I knew I was going over there. Other guys, Flip Gordon, if you watch Ring of Honor, he was the first LDN world champion. Darius Carter, if you follow anything in New York, he just won King of New York. He's a big time independent wrestler on the New York scene right now. But yeah, as soon as I found out that MJF, Sabu, Finley were over there as well too. I mean, there's plenty of names. I mean, LDN is the longest touring wrestling company in the United Kingdom. So, I mean, if you watch any British wrestling, there's some bigger names that have been over there as well too that are just homegrown. But for the implanted people like myself, it was an honor to be able to go over there, and going back soon. We just got to figure out the dates.
That'll be awesome. You brought up Lee Moriarty too, and you got to wrestle against him, and I believe you said that was right as he signed.
I beat him.
You beat Lee Moriarty.
Okay,
just put that for the record for the We Three Kings podcast.
Yeah, you could look it up.
Beat Lee Moriarty. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description to make sure they check it out. But this guy has then taken on CM Punk and just recently Bryan Danielson in a match. So just talk about that. You beat Lee Moriarty, then you watch him in AEW lose to two of these guys that are two all-time greats. First of all, how was it beating Lee? And second of all, then seeing him and how he's been doing in AEW.
Well, if you watch anything leading up to whenever I was going up against Lee, I called the shot. So it wasn't a surprise to me that I beat him, but I knew Lee was going to be a star the first time I ever met him. I think it was at one of the first Rise wrestling shows that I went to, and everybody was like, oh, Lee's the man. Lee's the man. He's going to get signed. He's going to be on national TV. And I mean, you hear that about a lot of people, but then whenever I actually got to see him in the ring, he was an absolute beast and everybody loved him. So it's cool that not only, like, all jokes aside, like, not only is it cool that Lee and I were trained by the same person, but right before he got signed, I did get to wrestle him and I did beat him.
All right, back to the King. He's got two questions for you.
Well, more so three. All right. So here's okay. So Doc, here's three questions here. Your favorite match you've wrestled in, your favorite opponent thus far, and who would you like to face down the line?
My favorite match was against Chandler Hopkins at WrestlePit, the last one, which is on YouTube. You could look it up. My favorite opponent, it's going to be hard to top Lee just because of the story that coming from the same spot. He just got signed. I was the first guy to have a crack at him, and I beat him. And then who I'm looking forward down the line, I want to wrestle Enzo Amore. I'd like to wrestle him. Who else is there? Juventud Guerrero would be a cool one. I'm thinking of just guys that could happen maybe in the next year or two too. Who else would be a good one? Chris LaRusso, another person who was influential on my training. Pittsburgh guy, went to Ring of Honor. But who would I think I'd have a good match with? If you ever see Joey Sunseri versus Darby Allin, then you know I'm getting somewhere, because I think Darby and I could put on a pretty good one.
I personally like to see you against Juventud Guerrero.
Yeah, that would be a dream of mine. I got him to meet him one time.
Wow, how is he?
He's cool. He ran a training class. I went down and got to hang out with him, and that's where I learned some lucha moves that if you watch my matches, it's straight from Juventud Guerrero. So getting to be in there with him one time, I'd love to have a match with him. It's just tough with COVID and everything now, and getting down to Mexico, or his appearances up here are pretty rare.
Let's stay there for a minute, because I think it's Rise Wrestling, if I'm correct. Let's talk about it for a minute. What's your experience been with them, and what can you let our viewers know about this company that you're in now?
My experience with Rise has been great. I mean, they knew they had a star from the beginning. That's where I started. It's an awesome training center, top of the line coach, get you where you need to go as fast as you can. And I'm the best example of that. First year I'm in there, I got to wrestle with one of the best technical wrestlers in North America. If you ask anybody, if you look up lists, you're going to see Lee Moriarty's name on it. Just won the tag team championships with my team, the Great Success, the Great Alexander, and the successful St. Jordan Styles. We run the Freebird rule. Our next show is March 12th. You could look us up at Uniontown Mall, risewrestling.com, at Rise Wrestling. But Rise has definitely became, like in the past 2 years, I would say one of the biggest hot spots in Pittsburgh wrestling for just up and coming people who really are making their break. So it wouldn't shock me if you went to a Rise show and you saw somebody that you're going to be seeing on TV in the not so distant future.
Okay. For sure. And this Saturday, you get to wrestle in the Turning Up the Heat event with WrestlePit. And again, that's this Saturday. I believe it starts at 7:00 there in Pittsburgh. If fans come out and get to watch you this weekend, what do they expect to see when they see the great Joey Sunseri in the ring?
Well, I talked about it yesterday, and the video will drop soon, but unfortunately Sean Legacy has broken his leg, so I don't have an opponent right now. So technically I just win by default. So I don't know. There's nobody. They never announced anybody that I'm facing, so I plan on just going to the ring, wait until they count to 10, getting a nice easy victory, grabbing something to eat, and I'm just going to hang out. So this Saturday, you might just get to see me walk to the ring, which is a show itself. But other than that, I might hang out with you for a little bit in the stands, because I'm going to be pretty well rested and fresh, because I haven't said anything. I don't know if I have an opponent.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is. I know the superior athlete will get the job done.
He got to fight somebody. He just can't go to the ring and just show up and get a 10 count. He got to fight somebody. Somebody come out there and give the man a challenge, something.
Somebody come out and give me a challenge, or somebody from the crowd could try to hop in if they want to. Somebody in the back, we'll see on Saturday. Everybody else has got an announced match. There's 8 of them. I mean, you got guys that are on AEW. You got guys that were signed to WWE Tough Enough. You got up-and-coming stars like Jason Hotch, the Savage Gentleman Victor Benjamin, Lady Frost, who's on Impact, Cheeseburger, LSG, who are Ring of Honor. I mean, the show's loaded. So you're going to come out and see a bunch of people, but then you'll get to see me. We'll see if somebody steps up and actually comes out. I don't blame them if they don't.
True. Now, talk about some of your moves. Like, what's the best move, your go-to move to finish somebody off?
I mean, I could just get up there and schoolboy somebody and probably just get out of there 1, 2, 3. I don't need to do anything too crazy to pick up victories. I mean, I finished Moriarty off with the Michinoku driver. You could see me doing lion salts in about mostly every other match. If I get the opportunity, if somebody's on the outside, I'm doing a suicide dive over the top, leg drops, just influences of people that I've seen in the past. It just depends on what's open, what's opportunities there, and then I go from there. But if I hit you with the Michinoku driver, it might be over. That one's 1 for 1, batting 1,000.
So some people might know in the background, I collect a lot of action figures in WWE and AEW. When will we get to see your action figure?
You gotta keep posting about you need a Joey Sunseri one. I can't just tell them to make it. You got to get a big fan group. Are you coming to the show Saturday?
Oh, I should be out there, and I'll bring a sign, and I'm gonna get some people. Brandon, would you come with me to
Where do you live, Brandon?
If I can get away Saturday, I can. Let's see what the weather says.
Where do you live?
We're right here in Johnstown.
Okay. You live up there too.
Yeah. So me and Ben live 15 minutes apart. We live about an hour and a half away from there. But off the script here, let me ask this question. With the Elimination Chamber being over, Brock Lesnar winning the title, Roman Reigns with the Universal title, this is a far-fetched question down the road. Who you got at WrestleMania between these two mammoths?
Lesnar.
That I knew there was a reason why I liked you.
Your
persona and all. I knew I liked you for a particular reason.
I'm smart, superior in every way. Lesnar's killing it right now. I mean, who would want to face him? He's hot. There's no drama. He's having fun. You see him on Pat McAfee show cutting up. I mean, that's whenever somebody like him is at his dangerous. He's just having fun.
Who's your favorite?
Who you got?
I got Lesnar.
Yeah.
Roman's time is done. Roman's time.
I don't know. Lesnar's tough. I mean, he went through 5 other guys in a friggin' steel cage center. I mean, he one guy, that's nothing to him. You know, I think Lesnar's got him.
My thing is that Roman's made his title run so stale now. Like, it was hot in the beginning, but now it's just stale. Like,
I mean, if nobody can beat him, what are you going to do?
Thank you.
So, I mean, now he has somebody that can beat him. So maybe our wishes will be granted and Lesnar wins it.
Yeah.
He's beating everybody. I mean, who's he beating on his run? Finn Balor. Who else is in it?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray
He
Wyatt.
got the title off of.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
He's beat his cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, this man doesn't care. He's beating up his own cousins for that belt. I mean, Reigns is definitely one of the best, but I just think Lesnar's too hot right now. I don't know if that punch would put him out. I think Lesnar's just going to take him to Suplex City and call it a day.
Yeah.
So your strong suit is definitely your promos. Like, if you go on and go to YouTube, Joey Sunseri, I mean, this guy can kill a promo. Can we get some sort of promo on this podcast to our viewers?
Yeah. Everybody watching who's going to be live at WrestlePit this Saturday or watching on Title Match Network or Fight TV, you're going to be just watching one of the best wrestlers, not in Pittsburgh, but the entire world. So just get used to this face. And it doesn't matter if nobody comes out, one person comes out, somebody hops in from the stands, just like Keith Hott and Vox, just like we were saying about Lee Moriarty. I'm going to find a way to give you that 1, 2, 3 count looking up at the ceiling because whenever you're in the ring with Joey Sunseri, you can always do well. You can sometimes get better, but you can never be superior.
And again,
that's how I would just right off the top of the head,
Yeah. He's one of the best. What do you think, Brandon?
I would love to see him actually in a AEW or WWE ring, but I laugh when he says Uncle Vince. I just think that's just the funniest thing, because my thing is that there's no reason why this man shouldn't be in a big federation within the next few years with a title around his waist or over his shoulder.
Brandon, you know how you said you knew you liked me? I knew I liked you, man.
Yeah.
I get people boo me. They're saying stuff about my mother, saying stuff about me whenever I walk out, call me Backstreet Boy. I mean, I'm not that bad of a guy. I'm just confident.
Here's the thing. I'm not a heel person. I'm a face guy. I can't stand heels, but I like heels that you can talk to, and you're one of them. You're a heel, but I can talk to you. You're reasonable.
We're all people.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect that. I just don't want to be talking to no heel that's just going to be arrogant and rude at the same time. No.
Yeah, we could still have fun, but whenever it comes to being in the ring and I just hop out there, like whenever the lights are on, it's time to perform. So if I got to do something a certain way and people don't like it, that's on them. I can't force them to like me.
Brandon, you got any more questions for the superior one?
Just one more, then we got to let him go. The Undertaker's going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Long overdue or right time?
I think it's the right time, because I think he knew that he wanted to just keep going out there every year at WrestleMania. So they were definitely holding off on it. They knew there was going to be a time where he just probably said, I'm good with going back out there. So I think everything worked out perfectly, if you ask me. Because I hate whenever it's like they induct one guy into 3 different factions and then he's still having a match the next year. That's just, to me, I don't know. It's like if Tom Brady, if they would induct him to the Hall of Fame 7 years ago, and then he just keeps winning Super Bowls. I mean, that's the Undertaker. He's one of the best of all time. I mean, he's one of the best of all time. I mean, if you just keep putting him out there and he steals a show on WrestleMania, I mean, did he need to go in the Hall of Fame yet? No, he's still killing it. You agree?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with
Ben,
you.
what do you think?
It's a good time, and I agree for the same reasons, that he still got it and he's still out there performing. So you have these superstars that go into the Hall of Fame and then they come back out and they still wrestle. Like, I mean, Edge is back now and he's doing really well. But you have
I guess his is a little different though, because he was going to retire because of his back injury.
Right.
He didn't know he was going to come back, but he's another one. I don't watch too much wrestling on TV right now, but I saw the promo he cut. I'm excited to see who he gets to step inside of the ring.
AJ Styles.
It was, or you guys are just guessing?
Right there.
Where we got a hunch because he said something about a phenomenal one, and there's rumors.
I saw that. I mean, he might want to see him. What do you mean rumors?
There's rumors going around that that's who it's going to be, because
whoever comes out, if it's AJ Styles, it'll come out. Maybe somebody else will come out.
Yeah, and there's news too that Jeff Hardy's joining AEW.
Yeah,
see that you like the fit there?
If I would love to see deleted or Matt Hardy and Brother Nero come out. That would be cool. If he goes back to that, that'd be sweet. They don't need to do another Hardy Boy run. They're already doing it on the indies.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He come back and do something else on TV.
So you got any questions for us on the We Three Kings podcast before we let you go?
Brandon, who's your favorite wrestler all time?
Oh God. It's a
tough one.
It's a tie between The Undertaker, Steve Austin, and The Rock.
Yeah, that's a tough 3 to beat right there.
That's
okay.
Tough.
We should. All right, Ben, what's yours? Because we might have a follow-up question to this.
I have Rock. Are we doing like a Mount Rushmore? Because who else? Just 3 or my favorite?
Oh, those. Okay. Let's do Rushmore. So we'll do what, 4? So who's your
Yeah.
last one, Brandon?
It's Austin, it's Rock, it's Taker, and I'm gonna go with Triple H.
Ooh, that's solid.
All right, Ben.
I would go Rock, of course, and Stone Cold. I think they're up there, but I think you got to throw Cena up there as well. And
Cena's,
one underrated guy, Randy Orton.
yeah. I would say Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
Austin, Rock, and Shawn Michaels. Cena's number 5. But Shawn Michaels, I mean, he's one of the best of all time. Like, he's the best coming out, everything. Hogan, I mean, you got to give it to him. I mean, dude, he changed it. Whenever he went to Hollywood, Hogan, he was the biggest heel. He's one of the only, like, he was the biggest, like, one of the biggest faces of all time, one of the biggest heels of all time. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. And there's nothing like nowadays that compares to back then. Like
No.
the wrestling now, as well, especially WWE, it just doesn't match what it was. You can put Roman Reigns there now.
They just do different stuff now.
Yeah.
It's completely like they used to just get, that's like how they evolved from like Babe Ruth to Shohei Ohtani though. Right now, I mean, that's how you could look at it.
Sure.
I mean, Hogan wrestled. You think Hogan could go out there and wrestle with Kenny Omega and do the shit that Kenny Omega does? It wouldn't look good. Omega could still make it work because he's an absolute beast, but there'd be matches where they're just crisscrossing back and forth. Like, just hit somebody at that point. You're trying to win the match, right?
Right. Now, your thoughts on AEW and WWE, because we've had this discussion with others and amongst ourselves. Is AEW, at least this year, or have they already surpassed WWE as far as the better company?
In the better company with what? Money or on-screen show?
As far as entertainment, as far as the better wrestling, like if you had to pick the company with
it just
the best
depends
wrestling.
on who you ask, man. It's hard to say, because some people will watch AEW and they dig that and they just enjoy how they have it set up. But there's a lot of people too. It's just different age groups, different people like different things. But AEW to me is out of this world. The wrestlers there, the matches that those guys are putting on is absolutely insane. I mean, they're doing some of the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
It's some of the best wrestlers in the world all on one show. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. And a guy you brought up, Darby Allin. I got to meet Sammy Guevara. Like those two are just, they risk it all in the ring.
That's if I would love to wrestle one of those guys, Sammy or Darby. Sammy's a beast. He's an absolute beast. But yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
maybe I'll get to be in there with him.
And then he could steal his girl.
Who?
Ty Conti.
Nah.
But yeah, we'll leave you with that. We want to thank you for joining the We Three Kings Wrestling Podcast. It was great getting to talk to you. And if you want to see Joey wrestle, hopefully he'll be wrestling somebody, but who knows, this Saturday.
You can come out and hang out though. Get a ticket.
True. That's true. We'll come hang
Maverick
out
Hotel right in Shady Side, PA, right in the city.
Look at that. It's all set up, and tickets, I believe, can you buy them at the door too?
Hopefully, if they don't sell out. I mean, they're mostly all sold out. It's going to be packed.
It's going to be
one of the biggest shows in Pittsburgh.
And that's at the Maverick, I believe.
Yeah, the Maverick.
This coming Saturday, 6:00, the doors open. 7:00 is showtime. If you want to watch this, I believe you can watch it online too, right?
Fight TV, Title Match Network TV. I mean, some of the stars that you're seeing on TV today, if you're watching AEW, if you're watching Impact, if you've watched WWE in the past, you're going to see somebody that you've seen on TV before. And if you haven't seen somebody there, some of these new guys that are up and coming, myself included, we're putting on a big show. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so if you can't make it, at least try to watch it on one of those networks there. And go follow WrestlePit. They're holding the event, the Turning Up the Heat event this Saturday. Make sure to follow them on all social media pages. Joey, I believe all of yours are the same at Joey Sunseri. So at AT Joey Sunseri, correct?
Yes, sir.
make sure to go follow him. And of course,
YouTube, check the matches out.
Yeah. You got to see him beat Lee. I mean, yeah, that's the best there. But he's got his matches on there to check them out. So make sure you do that. If you want to watch this, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcast, Anchor, Spotify, and you want to look at our beautiful faces, especially the new third king, Joey Sunseri.
Yeah. What's Tyler? What's his name?
Troy. Yeah.
Whenever he's hanging out with Brian Myers.
Yeah, when he's he got to hang out. His new best friend is Hornswoggle now. It's yeah, they're best buddies. He flipped them off in a picture and signed a picture saying he hates them. They're great friends now. But while he's out doing that, we got the superior one here. So if you want to watch, of course, our YouTube, we're everywhere. We Three Kings Wrestling on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You'll find us there. But we want to thank Joey for joining us once again on the podcast. We'll have to get you back on here maybe when you sign to AEW or somewhere big, doing some big things. We'll be rooting for you. We'll be your number one fans, and I'm going to make sure I get a figure of you. There has to be one. I'm gonna talk to whoever.
Just make it.
I'll make it my own. I'll make some money. We'll make sure we make some money off of that. So
yeah.
We want to thank you for coming on, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.